Why does everybody keep quoting Bill Barr, particularly my friends on my favorite cable network? Like he's making news or something? He's not even coherent. And his personal animosity towards Donald Trump taints everything that comes out of his rather considerable mouth. So why? Says the case in Washington is legitimate, although there are other circumstances involved here. He would not have probably pulled the trigger. It's an illegitimate case. Then he says the goal is to bring the case as fast as you can. You would think both parties support that. Now let me show you how stupid that is. You're Donald Trump. You want to bring a case as fast as you can in Washington, D.C. with a radical Obama judge, a Democrat jury. You want to get a conviction? And then it takes years for the circuit court and then the Supreme Court to hear it. Meanwhile, the election's over? How stupid is that? Bill Barr is getting dumber by the day. My view, which happens to be the correct view, is that I finally, I think, figured out how it can be done, is that the Trump lawyers go to the Florida court with Judge Cannon, or any of the courts. They can go to the court in D.C., but I would do it that way. She set a trial date for May sometime and move for an interlocutory appeal, try to get up to the United States Supreme Court, which may or may not take the case, and explain everything I've said to you and everything I've put online, which is my client. If your client's Ernie Grabotsky, it would be the same thing. But they need to say that their client cannot possibly spend full time on fighting for his freedom. Because what we're talking about here are indictments that, if they succeed, will wind up putting Donald Trump in prison for the rest of his life. He'll die in prison. That's the goal of the party opposite. That's the goal of the Democrat Party. That's the goal of Biden. To arrest and imprison for the rest of his life the opposition. Now think about this in the United States of America. And so when you get to the Supreme Court, and what you argue to the judge at every level, judges, and then the Supreme Court is, look, my client cannot fight full-time for his liberty in dealing with 80 indictments. He cannot, which for the average citizen would be overwhelming enough, and run for president at the same time. It's not possible. And the Department of Justice under Merrick Garland, they know full well what they're doing. They're making it impossible for my client to exercise his constitutional rights, to defend himself. His due process is under attack, and run for president. Now, some might say, well, then don't run for president. That's the point, isn't it? They know what they're doing, dropping 2 grand jury indictments on top of Donald Trump in the middle of a campaign. That's why this sort of thing has never been done before, and it never should be done ever again. They're bleeding his resources, so he can't use them on his campaign. They know that. He has to expend an enormous amount of time defending himself, sitting down with lawyers. They're going to have to go through 9 months of videotapes. They're going to have to go through over 1 million documents. You have to do all these things with your client, who's fighting for his life, who's fighting for his liberty. And at the same time, trying to achieve the nomination of his party and run in the general election to defeat the man who's trying to put him in prison the rest of his life. This has never been done in this country before. The only body left, the only constitutional body left that might take action to put an end to this is the Supreme Court. And by an end to this, I don't mean end the cases. The cases can go on after the election. There's not a single statute of limitation in danger of running here. Not one. And this is the same Department of Justice that intentionally let the 2014 and 2015 tax fraud statute of limitation run intentionally on Hunter Biden, costing the federal treasury taxes on $1.5 million. So what are they going to do in court now? Say, no. We let that statute of limitations run. I'm the judge, and I say, wait a minute. Whoa. The government doesn't have any exposure whatsoever. You have all the documents, you have all the video, you have all the witness testimony that you need. Obviously, you can use it as trial. On the January 6th case, which is the weakest day, I want to say something to Bill Barr. Are you an idiot? This guy is disgruntled, and he's a nasty SOB. He even said today on Martha McCullum's show, at January 6th, that was, you need to pay a price for what you did. He's not charged with what happened on January 6th in any specific statute. Fraud because the government claims he wasn't telling the truth about the election. You thought it was bad when they had censorship, and then they wanted malinformation, misinformation, disinformation boards at Homeland Security, looking over what's going on social media. Imagine being indicted over something like this. Then they used two statutes that were passed right after Enron because they realized they didn't have a criminal statute that involved the destruction of documents related to Congress. Those are those obstruction charges. That has nothing to do with this. In fact, that read is so thin that a number of protesters who were convicted on that have filed appeals, and that matter is going to get to the U.S. Supreme Court. They use that, and Barr thinks, Barr is a buffoon. So why do they keep quoting him? Why? They shouldn't. Quote me, because I know what the hell I'm talking about. He may have been an attorney general, wasn't a very good one. I was chief of staff to an attorney general, and he was a great one. It's unbelievable. So what I would do, I'm just giving my opinion publicly, so Trump lawyers, all of you folks, Department of Justice, judges, non-judges, everyone can just hear what I'm saying. That's what I do here, right? Same when I post. Make many of the arguments I just made, and there's more, for why this case needs to be stopped, and the other case needs to be stopped. And the Supreme Court has to decide if Donald Trump is able to exercise his constitutional due process rights, and moreover, on the second lane, whether this kind of activity by the executive branch against a candidate is constitutional. Because I don't believe it is in any respect. Merrick Garland is dropping indictments on top of Donald Trump, one after another. He's got trial dates up the wazoo. They have court dates up the wazoo, all through this proceeding, all through this election cycle. They know exactly what they're doing. And here's the key. Please listen. This is the key. One man, Merrick Garland, is using the judiciary, using the court system to try and affect the outcome of the election, the course of the election, and the liberty of a man who's been told, sure, you can defend yourself, you can have your day in court, even if you don't have time to actually present a proper defense. Sure, you can do that. Why am I the only one talking about this? Where the hell are the civil libertarians? Where's the defense bar? Where's the ACLU? Where are my fellow conservatives? Where the hell are they? This is as clear as night and day. This is intentional. You have the Biden Department of Justice and their hitman, the special counsel, using the judicial system, the process of litigation, the process of charging somebody against the candidate, against the citizen. And we cannot leave it to individual judges in individual districts. We certainly can't leave it to local DAs to determine the future course of this nation. Now, the foundation for tyranny is being built all around us. All around us.